Okay, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Kevin with Optimize Essentials, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a shoulder mobility and strengthening exercise. Now, I do want to preface that there may be some conflicting interest or opinion on whether or not this exercise is good for your shoulders or if it's safe for your shoulders. And I do want to really quickly go over that if you have bad posture or if you have really bad hunchback, you want to make sure you check out my other videos on how to stretch and mobilize your shoulder, your lats, fixing your pelvic tilts. Otherwise, this may cause some kinks or some pinching in your shoulders when you're doing this. But I did test it on my brother who has shoulder pain at certain ranges of motion, and he says this is fine. The only thing that bothers him was when he did the internal rotation of the shoulder when I showed, as I'm going to show you in this exercise. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So to do this exercise, what you are going to do is you're going to grab onto a cable machine and use an easy bar. So you can use a straight bar if you have a straight bar that's a little bit longer, but personally I use an easy bar, and you assume the child's pose position. All right, so as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm doing internal rotation so that I'm kind of actively stretching out my internal rotators and teaching my body new ranges of motion. So this position is actively stretching out my lats, and it is opening up the thoracic spine and the vertebrae in my spine as I'm just passively relaxing into this position, allowing the counterforce of the weight to pull me up. And I'm also pulling my head forward to open up my cervical spine and just really relaxing and breathing into this movement and playing around with the ranges of motion. So I'm curling my body upwards, internally rotating my shoulders more, and just kind of finding any kink that I am feeling in my body. All right, so now I'm introducing rotation to my body, because in order for your shoulder to perform optimally, you need to have adequate thoracic mobility. And if you don't have adequate thoracic mobility, your shoulder ends up taking all of the damage, and eventually you'll have some scapular dysfunction or shoulder dysfunction, and you don't want that. So I'm introducing rotation after my lats have been stretched out. And again, if you have really bad hunchback, what you want to do is you want to check out my how to fix your hunchback posture, and then watch my other pelvic tilts posture so that you can align your body to the maximum degree before you attempt these exercises. Because this exercise can be unsafe if you don't have good neuromuscular control over your body and you're kind of just jumping right into it without taking it nice and slow. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm doing some cat-cows in this position. So I'm teaching my body how to move and explore different ranges of motion, and doing a potentially unsafe range of motion with good control so that my shoulder can be strong in abnormal positions, right? The more you can develop control over end range of motion or just different ranges of motion that your body isn't accustomed to, it's going to adapt to the stress and the response a lot better. So what I'm doing here is I'm just really playing around with the position by going forward, going back, rounding my spine, and kind of rotating my spine and just allowing the bar to stretch out whichever side that I feel the most tightness. And then once I feel like it's all good and I feel like my body's balanced out, what I'm doing here is now I'm going to strengthen my body in this position. I'm going to do a behind the neck pull down so that I can strengthen my scapular retractors and kind of just balance it out after I've released and stretched out my body with what I showed you earlier. All right, so I welcome you to try this exercise out by yourself and see how it feels for you. Again, if you feel any kinks or pinches, make sure you address your soft tissue dysfunction, anything in your lats, anything in your pecs, your serratus, your upper traps, your mid traps, any trigger points in this area may cause pinching in your shoulder, right? So I believe that's it with the video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know how you like this exercise. I will be having another video out where I will be sharing more exercises on how to bulletproof your shoulders, which is more safe and more functional and kind of within the limits of the average person. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and comment below. Stay subscribed, and I will pump out some more videos. All right, you guys have a good one. Peace.